Hey everyone, Skull902 back here with my Sonic CD Let's Play. This is part 2, and we're going to be going to Collision Chaos where we meet Amy Rose, who's debuting in this game. That's right, before she was Best Anime, she was just a character to be kidnapped by the also debuting Metal Sonic. Two of the, how should we say, like, premier characters in the franchise, I suppose you could say. Amy more so than Metal Sonic. But it's kind of a surprise that they went on to the popularity that that they had going further into the series' future, because this was a game that not many people originally played for a system that not many people originally had. It was just an add-on for the Genesis. And I suppose maybe their presence in the Game Gear games, or the comics, to be perfectly honest, had something to do with Metal and Amy's eventual popularity and whatnot. And Metal Sonic has a really cool design. That probably also helps. But just a little interesting how things went down, because even with Sonic being a popular franchise in the Western world. Especially during the early and mid 1990s, not a whole lot of exposure to this game at first. I would think, at least until the PC version came out. So yeah, just this game was the debut of both Amy Rose and Metal Sonic, two wonderful characters in this franchise. Amy being my second favorite. And Metal Sonic, of course, probably second best villain in the franchise behind Eggman. So, good stuff, good stuff. Now, I mentioned in part 1 about, like, how you could go back into the past or go forward into the future, and there would be good futures and bad futures and stuff. Adding on to that, you will also notice if you go into a different timeline that the level design changes as well, due to the help or the interference of technology, depending on when and where you are. I can't think of a great example, but like in general, they're just, say, like in the present, there's an area that you can go to where in the past they hadn't like dug out yet or something, and you can't go there. So things like that, and I think that level design such as that is pretty neato indeed. As far as how time travel works, because I didn't really get into the specific mechanics, basically what you gotta do, as you've seen the 3 times that I've time traveled before, don't mind me just springing off of these exploding balls here and hitting that guy like an idiot. Or getting hit by that guy, I should say. Even my commentary makes me look like an idiot. But you go into one of those signs, that's a future sign, obviously. And then you've got to, like, run at a certain speed and for a certain amount of time. And at one point you'll start blinking, and you got to keep your speed up at that point. Or else you'll lose your ability to travel in time. Kind of, I wouldn't call it a scrappy mechanic, so to say, but, losing your ability to time travel after bumping into a wall or getting hit by an enemy, it can be frustrating. And since this is a more vertically based, explorative type game than, like the other classic Sonics, there's also not a whole lot of opportunity to, easily gain the speed that you need to travel in time. So you really gotta know your level design, or find a place that'll pretty much give it to you, like I did in Act 1. And there's also another place in Tidal Tempest, the next zone, where, like, it's really easy to... Sometimes they just give it to you. But other times you really got to think it over. Quartz Quadrant is probably, like, the one zone where, like, it's the hardest one for me to be able to consistently go back to the past, or just time travel in general. You'll see what I mean. It's a pretty weird path that I got to take in Quartz Quadrant, but you know, that's a story for another time. That is definitely a story for another time. Uh, Nearing the end of this act here, and something that a lot of players get frustrated by is the boss of of Collision Chaos. It's like a pinball machine. Robotnik or Eggman, whatever you want to call him, throws bombs at you to uh, impede your progress and whatnot. I got very lucky. I got very lucky here. In fact, when I was recording it, I said to myself, I'd be surprised if I got this in under a minute. And even with me getting hit like a dumbass there, a very surprising run. So this is like the footage is kind of deceptive. It's not always like this because you got things that are just constantly bumping you. But thankfully, I was able to make very short work of Eggman. Uh, but like you know, don't use this footage as an indication for how tough or easy this boss is. Like the actual boss part is you know, easy as piss, but getting up to him is a whole nother story. I just got lucky, so yeah. um but that's pretty much it for Collision Chaos. So good shit, and next time I will see you in Tidal Tempest. Thanks for watching.